Pours, Preps, and Projects. I'm Tyler, and behind me here is my new greenhouse I made on the cheap in an afternoon. Made this thing in about 5 hours, a bit less actually. It's 9 foot and like 6 inches by 9 foot and 6 inches. Show you the space inside and can see if it's something you want to try. For a door, I just got some heavier mill plastic and rolled the plastic up together. The ceiling right up here at the very top is about 8 feet from the ground. There's 11 of these 10-inch pots going this way, 11 going this way. So I think you get a decent amount of room. That's only taking up about a foot of space. They're only 10 inches at the top. You could probably fit 50 plants in here as long as they didn't bush out too much, and you'd have room. So this is a kind of space that you get inside of just a 9x9. I guess onto the build. So got the boards from Home Depot, just 2x4s, construction grade. And they're 9'6", which I know it's a weird length to start. Gonna do 9 foot by 9 foot, and that's because they're cheap. If you keep an eye out at Home Depot, Lowe's, places like that, Home Depot is where I was at, you can get boards that are cut a weird length, or maybe they got one end where something's messed up. You can get a really steep discount. I think I got each of these for $2.50. So that's one way you can build stuff on a budget. It'll be a weird dimension, but I'm only losing a foot as to paying twice that amount to get a 10-foot board. I'm marking 3 inches off the ends of each board, which I have 4 of, so it'll be an even 9 feet in the middle. Grab 2 of your 4 boards. We are going to make a mark every 2 feet, starting at the 3-inch line we just made, and ending at the opposing 3-inch line. The last mark will be a little short of 2 feet, but that's okay. This is going to be a cheap build, tools not included. Right here is where I use my speed square to mark a center line down the board to make the center of my holes for the PVC to fit into. Using a 7/8 paddle bit, I made the holes for the 1/2-inch PVC. Just clean up the ends of these and be ready for the next piece. We're going to set the boards in a square formation. Be sure that the 2 boards with the holes for the PVC pipe are parallel to each other. I'm marking and cutting 1-foot boards to connect and hold the frame together. Right here is where I realized I screwed up. So if you're going to mark your holes on the ends, make sure there's enough room for your 2x4. But because I'm lazy, I'm just going to move the board to the side and roll with it. Oh, split it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like a smart guy. I'm awesome like that. Just screw shit up the whole way until I figure it out. Sticking a scrap piece of 2x4 underneath your frame when you're doing this will help keep everything even and lined up. That's pretty good. 3 more times and the frame will be secure. I hammered in some homemade stakes to hold down the greenhouse. Then using 550 paracord, tied the frame to the stakes. And did so to all 4 corners. So now we're going to start the framing for the roof and walls out of PVC. Connect 12 10-foot PVC pipes to make 6 arches for the frame. You're going to use 2 T's for the front and back arches. Use crosses for the middle arches. We need to connect the arches, so I'm measuring and cutting the distance between each arch, which is roughly 2 foot, besides the oddball that we discussed earlier, which we'll get to here in just a sec. As you can see, this is a little bit wider than what the structure itself is. I could have got more specific in my measuring all the way through, but instead I'm gonna cheat because I'm kind of lazy. So right there is where it's at on the end. That's pushed up against the other side. I think that's good enough for me. So I'm gonna cut it off right here and move this over, call it a day. I'm gonna try and get the ends of these guys here lined up with the holes they're gonna go into. And once they're all pushed in, then I'm gonna take the other side and just bend it up like I'm putting pitching a tent with little tent poles. We're doing the same thing basically. Can I get this to bend and stay in here? That's one.
That's two. Three. You see if I can shake? 4. 5. 6. Oh, that's the first one to come loose.
After you get your first set of pipes in, be careful pushing all the rest of them up and bending them and putting them into place. I had one pipe come loose on me, but that's it. Even with one person, it's really not that hard. Would you look at that? Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've got something here. And for $3, I got 10 by 20 clear 1 mil drop cloth and some clear like packing tape. It's quite majestic, really.
You should play like angelic music over this part. I'm not kidding.
Like, oh. Okay. This is 10 by 20, so technically it should like sort of cover the whole thing and then me just have to do the ends. But that's why I got extras, because like, I don't know if that's gonna work. Already taking it.
Just set it.
I'm gonna get some clamps real quick and be right back.
Hurry up.
I started at the bottom edge of the clamps and worked my way around until I had one side completely secure. Pull the plastic over the top of the PVC pipes until you get to the front and clamp it in place. Okay, so here it is all mocked up with the clamps. Now it's just one roll of the plastic sheeting. I cut the next roll in half before unfolding it for the back wall. With my 10 by 10 piece cut, I went around the arch, taping it in place. Having some chunks of tape already cut and setting aside on your good old milk crate there might help. Just gonna kind of get a little bit of meat on that one, push it around onto there, so now it's together. And I'm gonna do that like a shitload more times all the way up. Sometimes the wind works with you.
Just wanted to double check.
After the top was taken care of, I taped the bottom of the plastic to the bottom of the frame. So this is where I'm going through taping down the plastic to the 2x4s all around the edges to completely seal up the bottom. See, I got the little flap there. Put a piece up this side. And I nailed it on the bottom, but left some area there for like a doorway. Now, I just clamped it around the top. No tape on this side. Reason for that is if I want to bring tables and set them in there, or some kind of shelving to get more space out of the area in the little greenhouse, then I can. I just have to undo the clamps and I can lay all that down flat. And I nailed it across the bottom most of the way, so I still have a way to walk in and out and try to mitigate some of the critters getting in there. This episode was my first DIY greenhouse. I'm Tyler with Pours, Preps, and Projects. Have a nice day.